All right, welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at the sample test and how to do these problems. So up first, we have the problem where we're asked to make a frequency distribution. So we're given this set of data here. We're asked to make a frequency distribution. So this is a standard frequency distribution, not the grouped. So we're going to have one data value for each of our entries. So our entries here seem to range from 10 all the way up to 20. So when I make my chart here, I'm going to have values from 10 all the way up to 20. So my x values are going to range from 10 all the way up to 20. So coming in here, I'd have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then I'm just going to go through my list and just start counting off. And what I'm going to do is kind of, as I use something up, I'm just going to cross it out. So as I go through my list here, I have 10, so there's one of those. And then just keep going through my list. And that's it for 10. So there's only one 10. We then keep going. We look through for 11s. We go through our list here. We very quickly realize there are no 11s. So that would have a frequency of 0. We keep going and we count up our 12s. 1, 2, 3, and so that would be it. Just 3 of those. Then we count up the 13s. 1. That's it for 13. So it would have a frequency of 1. Then we go through with 14. 1, 2, and 3. Now we go for our 15s. Nothing in the first group. 1, 2, 3 of those. We look for 16s. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then we keep going. 17 happens 1, 2, just the 2 times. And 18 as well, just 1 and 2. 19 doesn't happen at all. And as we can see there, 20 happens just the one time. And so now we've made up our frequency distribution. Okay, that's all there is there for part A, or for part 1 there. Construct our frequency distribution. The second question asked us to make a histogram. All right, to take the data that we just had and make a histogram. So remember, a histogram is just a vertical bar graph. So we're going to have our vertical axis coming down. That will be our frequencies. And actually, let me just slip this up just a little bit here. So a little room underneath. All right, and then we have our data values coming down the side. So when we look at our frequencies, we see we're basically from 1 to 4. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll write my data values underneath. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and just a little further, 19, and then finally 20. And remember to do the frequency distribution, or if you were doing a frequency polygon, you would just take each data value and go up to its height. So 10 occurs one time, so we would just come up 1, and we would mark that with our bar, and again we're actually going to be going halfway between 10 and 11. Now 11 had a frequency of 0, so we're just going to kind of go across the side here. 12 had a frequency of 3. So we come up above 12 to a height of 3. And we would again make our bar coming up over, and again stopping halfway between 12 and 13. 13 only had a frequency of 1. So we'll come over here with a bar of height 1. And then we're back. 14 has a frequency of 3. 15 had a frequency of 3. 16 had a frequency of 4. So for 16, we would come all the way up to 4. 17 had a frequency of 2. 18 had a frequency of 2. 19 had a frequency of 0. And 20 has a frequency of 1. And so that would be our histogram there. Okay. So that is our histogram that follows our data there. And if we were doing the frequency polygons, remember we'd actually start in the corner and we would work our way up through connecting each point to the middle point there. Okay, but this problem was just asking for a histogram, so that's all we have to do there. Okay, up next we have this problem where we're asked to make a stem and leaf plot. Now your textbook had you sort your stem and leaf plot. I'm not going to worry about that as long as you have the right numbers in the right place. So the way we do a stem and leaf is we go through and we write down our stem, which is the first digit of our number, and then the leaf will be our ones digits. So as we look at our tens digits, we have 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So I'll make my stem like this: 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll draw a little vertical bar. And then I'm just going to go through as I read each number and put it in its right row. So 25, put a 5 in the 2 row, 42, 33, 35, 41, 21, 55, 59, 27, 46, 54, 32, 32, 23, 35. And just take care to make sure that you line each row up right. So 35, and we have 37, 51, 42, 38, and 29. And then the final thing we do is we just kind of box that in so that we basically have kind of a sideways histogram. And that's our stem and leaf plot. That's our stem and leaf plot. Okay. We get here to number 3 on the sample test. We're dealing with a grouped frequency distribution. So as you read the problem here, it says construct a group frequency distribution, use the groups 11 through 20, and so on. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow the directions here. So we do our table. And our groups again are 11 to 21, 11 to 20, sorry, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, and I think that's it, right? And so we're just going to go through and count. Now, this time I'm going to, instead of crossing stuff out, I'm just going to use a highlighter. So first we do all of our 11 through 20s. And we just look. So the first one I see is 16. So 1, 2. And also keep in mind that 20, if we see it, would be in that first group. Just kind of keeping an eye out, making sure I don't miss anything. So that's it. I just have 2 for that first frequency. Okay, then we go 21 to 30. So getting my highlighter out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks like there's 11 of those. Then we go to our 30s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because we include 40, 8, and 9. And then we just count the ones that are left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so our group frequency distribution would look like this: 2, 11, 9, and 5. Okay. Up next is where we get into our mean, median, mode. And of course on your test it'll also include mid-range. So here we're looking at the set of data here: 10, 8, 5, 7, 2, 3, 2, 7, 4, and 2. So up first we want to do our mean. So remember, for the mean we just add them all up and we divide by the total. So 10 plus 8 plus 5 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2, and then divide by how many things we have. Real quick, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. We take that total and we divide by 10. Okay? And so, again, this just becomes a calculator problem at this point, adding up our numbers. 10 plus 8 plus 5 plus 7 plus 2, 3, 2 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2. So that's all adds up to just be 50. So 50 divided by 10 would give us, in this example, a mean of 5. Now for the mid-range, all we do is average the high and low. So the lowest value is a 2, the highest is a 10. So 2 plus 10 divided by 2 would give us a mid-range of 6. Now for the median, we have to take our data and resort it in order. So 2, 2, 2, there's 3 of those there. And then 3, 4, 5, there's no 6s. And it would be 7, 7, 8, and 10. So remember, for the median, we take our number of data values, add 1 to it, and divide by 2. So that would give us that the median is going to be in position 5.5. So we'd count up our list, right, and find that position 5.5. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5.5 would be halfway between the 5th and 6th numbers. So it's going to be halfway in between here. So remember, when it's halfway in between, we average those to get the median. So 4 plus 5 over 2 would be 4.5. And that is our median. Okay. And then remember, to find the mode, we look to see if there's one that's most frequent or two that are tied. If there's any more than two that are tied for most frequent, remember we'd say there's no mode. In this case, there's just the one mode, and that is 2. The mode here is 2. Okay. There we are, the mean, median, mode, and mid-range. Now, the next question deals with finding the mean, median, and mode. We don't worry about the mid-range here because we already have done an example of that, and that actually doesn't change. Using a frequency distribution. So remember the way a frequency distribution works. We have our data values over here and how frequent they are over here. So first, let's do the mean. To do the mean with a frequency distribution, what we do is we're going to total everything up. So 2, 5, 6, 8, 3, and 2. Total all that up. 2, 5, 7. 6 is 13, and 8 is 21, and 3 is 24, and 2 will be a total of 26 values. Okay, so we're going to take each data value times its mean, add them up, and then we're going to divide by the 26. So that would be 3 times 2 plus 4 times 5 plus 5 times 6 plus 6 times 8 plus 7 times 3 plus 8 times 2. And we're going to take all those data values, multiply them, and add them up. And then we're going to divide by our total number of things, which is 26. Okay. And again, that's just going to be a quick thing that we can do on a calculator. 3 times 2 plus 4 times 5 plus 5 times 6 plus 6 times 8 plus 7 times 3 plus 8 times 2. We get 141. And then that's divided by 26. And so we do that, 141 divided by 26. And we get, rounding it off, let's say 5.42. And that is our mean. Now to do the median, remember we take our number of things, which in this case is 26, add 1 onto it, divide by 2. So that would mean that our median is in the 13.5 position. So then to do the median, what we do is we start counting and seeing where would 13.5 be? Where would the 13.5 number be? So we go through here and say, well, once I get done to 3's, I have 2 things. Because it'd be 3, 3. And then there's going to be 4 written out 5 times. So I'd now have 7 things. Right. Then there would be 5 written out 6 times. That would actually land me at the 13th thing. 6 written out 8 times would land me at the 21st thing, and actually that's far enough. Because we can now see that the 13.5 number would actually be in between the last 5 and the first 6. So it's kind of rare that that happens on a frequency distribution, but that is the case here. So our median would be actually the average, so of 5 and 6, because of it being in between those two. So 5 plus 6 is 11, divided by 2 will give us a median of 5.5. And finally, your mode is whichever one happens the most. And when you have a frequency distribution, that's really easy, because we can see that the 6 occurs 8 times. So our mode is 6. It occurs the most frequently. Okay, next question asks us to go back to problem number 4 and find the range. So if we go back to the data in problem number 4 here, right, we want to find the range. Remember, range now is just highest minus lowest. So the highest value in our list is a 10, the lowest is a 2. So for range, all we do is exactly that, 10 minus 2. And so the range of our set of data is just 8. Okay. Now, the next question here asks us to find the standard deviation. However, that's the most involved of the problems. Again, those steps are provided for you. Steps are provided for you. Will be provided for you on your exam. So it's not something you have to remember the steps. So if you go back on to the test and pull it out here, and the last page of the test again is your, well, that's the sample test apparently, or the answer key. Apparently I don't have the test on there, so hold on, let me pull it up here again for you. Try this a second time. Okay, so if you go to the last page, again, the steps there for the standard deviation, you can find those. Okay, so let's take a look at this set of data here. 10, 8, 5, 7, 3, 7, 2, 3, 2, 7, 4, 2. This is actually just the same data from problem number 4. It's actually exact same numbers. 10, 8, 5, 7, 2, 3, 2, 7, 4, 2. It's exactly the same numbers. So we already know what the mean is, because we computed it earlier. It was 5. Okay. So to do the standard deviation now, what I like to do is make a chart. And in the first column, I'm just going to list all of my data values down. Now, you can do them in the order they're written in, or if you want, you may find it easier to list them out in numerical order, or not. That's up to you. I'm going to go ahead this time and write them out in numerical order. 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7, 8, and 10. And then we're going to take each data value minus the mean. Right, that's the next column. X minus X bar. So 2 minus 5 would be negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 2, 2, 3, and 5. Right. Then we're going to take all of those values and we're going to square them. X minus X bar squared. That's going to be 9, 9, 9, 4, 1, 0, 4, 4, 25. Okay. Yeah, I lost my order. That's all right. Then we're going to add all those up. That's step 4. When you add all those up, you're going to get 74. Okay. We're going to then finish it off by taking 74, dividing it by 1 less than the number of things I have, and taking the square root of that answer. Okay. And so when you do that, you're going to get, on this example, that your standard deviation is 2.87, roughly. 2.87.